When I first heard of Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Final Chapter Prologue, I reacted in pretty much the same way everyone else did. First of all, what is that title? And secondly, where is Kingdom Hearts 3? Needless to say, I wasn't too thrilled about it initially, but then I read more into the game's content. A game fully devoted to one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts games, along with a remake of one of the most underappreciated installments in the franchise? Sign me up. And that's the sort of bias I had going into it. As a fan of Kingdom Hearts, you should know I'll be bringing in the taste and expectations that come with that. However, that doesn't mean I intend to nitpick the hell out of it or glorify it beyond belief. I'll give you the positives and the negatives, just as I always have. So without further ado, let's tackle the first item on the title screen, Dream Drop Distance. As I said before, Dream Drop Distance is a game I enjoyed quite a bit on the 3DS, even despite a few plot hiccups. For the unversed, DDD's story follows both Riku and Sora as they take their Mark of Mastery exams, which has them venturing through a variety of new and familiar worlds. Much like you'd expect, things don't go exactly the way Yen Sid planned, and that's as deep as I want to go for this video. For what it is, the plot works. There are some complicated elements near the end that are far beyond the scope of our tiny human brains when it comes to Nomura's storytelling, but I still enjoyed it. What really complements the story is the sort of streamlined gameplay. Rather than using the triggers and D-pad for menu navigation like most of the other Kingdom Hearts games, you just use the D-pad for choosing which special magic or physical attacks to select. See, the original 3DS, you know, the one without the nub and extra triggers, couldn't have allowed for the classic style of combat, so the developers compromised. This was one of the most jarring aspects of DDD when I first tried it out, causing me to even drop it for a short while. On the PS4, the controls feel a lot more natural. Selecting the correct move isn't cumbersome, and the touchscreen elements were removed in favor of more traditional ones. Not to mention, the camera has been pushed back quite a bit, and according to Nomura, some enemies were made less offensive, which could mean enemies are less aggressive, or something else. Oh, and yeah, the visuals look a lot better if you didn't know. Character models and locations were updated in the same way the presentation was updated in 1.5 and 2.5, although the janky lip syncing is still present. Also, I feel like with the shift to more HD textures and colors, some of the original's contrast of colors was lost, like with the castle that never was his interior. This is just a minor personal gripe of mine that doesn't affect how I view the remake at all though, so don't put a lot of weight onto that criticism. Without getting into technicalities, I think the remake of Dream Drop Distance is great, and for those who haven't played it yet or want to replay it, it serves its purpose well. Moving on from this remake, there's also a movie included in this package called Kingdom Hearts Chi, back cover, which details the events before and during Kingdom Hearts Unchained. Chi? Or is it X? I'm sorry. The story follows 5 foretellers, Ava, Ira, Asid, Envy, and Gula, as well as the Master of Masters and his personal apprentice, Luxu, as they do things, seemingly important to the series as a whole. See, here's the great dilemma I'm having. There's a lot to love about this new movie, but at the same time it has so many glaring flaws with the narrative and presentation. Before I get into those though, let's start with the positives. Utilizing the new engine made for Kingdom Hearts 3 makes this cinematic look graphically astounding. Locations like Daybreak Town are amazingly polished, and character models look a hell of a lot better than they ever have before in a Kingdom Hearts installment. The way the characters move, most of the time, is expressive and charming, especially the Master of Masters. Although, I feel like concealing his face gave the developers a lot more room to make him more animated, in both the literal and figurative sense. He's easily one of my favorite parts of back cover. With a name like the Master of Masters, you'd expect someone as stern and serious as Yen Sid. But Square Enix subverts this expectation by giving him some over-the-top charisma. He jokes around with the foretellers, downplays the Keyblade War as just another event in the timeline, patronizes his followers, and leaves for seemingly no reason out of the blue. Some might say he's a little too exuberant at times, but to me it only made him more developed as a character. Lip syncing, one of my biggest Kingdom Hearts pet peeves, has also significantly improved. There are a few instances where the characters look like they're speaking like robots, and when the camera cuts away to other characters when a character is talking is a bit of a cop-out for some animation, but all in all, it's passably decent. Speaking of animation, that's another tiny complaint I have with back cover. Sometimes, some characters behave oddly in non-human-like ways, or their animations just look off. Now, I want to go into a bit of depth with the story, and considering this is a movie of sorts, I imagine that not a lot of you want to hear about the plot if you haven't seen it. So there will be a timestamp right now on screen you can skip to if you'd like to avoid these spoilers. If you simply don't care, then alright, that's cool. Anyways, here we go. Does anyone else feel like back cover raises more questions than it answers? Because the whole plot revolves around these 5 animal mask-wearing individuals who had been doing work in the world before the Keyblade War, and obviously the conflict comes with the Master of Masters telling them there was a traitor among them, causing them to be all divided and accusatory. But why? Why did the Master of Masters fuck with them so much? He kinda seems like the type of teacher to have his pupils learn from experience, so I guess this social experiment of his to see if the group gets divided works? Sure, he knows that no matter what happens, everything is set in stone as the Book of Prophecy dictates, but I feel like someone called the Master of Masters could try something to prevent it. At the very least, he could have tried to prevent the fighting that goes on between the 5 foretellers and not vanished unexpectedly. Regardless, the plot, while easy to follow and straightforward, gets more confusing when you actually think about its purpose. It doesn't really tie into the main Kingdom Hearts storyline, and all of the information established here is established in the mobile installment, Kingdom Hearts Unchained Chai. Or Chi, I'm sorry once again. Although there is nothing jarringly wrong with the narrative in the movie itself, I feel like I just wasted an hour of my life watching 5 of the least enjoyable characters in back cover bicker over unimportant issues. What would have been cool is if they simply revealed who the traitor was at the end. Many speculate it could be one of the 5, Luxu, the one who has Xehanort's Keyblade, or no one at all and the Master of Masters lied to them all. Nevertheless, I don't think back cover is what should coax you into buying this collection. Not only is the cinematic experience, however charming with the Master of Masters and visuals, a bit bland, the plot doesn't really go anywhere. The unsatisfying ending especially makes me question back cover's existence. Plus, you can watch the entirety of back cover everywhere on YouTube as it would play to you on the PS4, further negating the incentive of a Kingdom Hearts cinematic experience for buying Kingdom Hearts 2.8 as a whole. Finally, let's talk about the best aspect this $60 product has to offer: Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep: A Fragmentary Passage. And that title is oddly suiting for this game. 1/5 is just a tiny bite into hopefully what Kingdom Hearts 3 will play and look like. A 2-hour experience that has done nothing but make me want to play more of that type of gameplay. See, 0.2, despite its name, plays a lot more like Kingdom Hearts 2 than Birth by Sleep. You can press the X button to rapidly attack, jump around, use the D-pad to choose different items and magic, and by holding down one of the triggers, you can access the quick menu for selecting magic attacks with ease. With the more streamlined controls, in my opinion, this is the best combat system Kingdom Hearts has ever seen. Exploring the world is also fairly enjoyable due to its emphasis on vertical platforming and smart level design with enemy placement, collectibles, and puzzle elements. Traversing this beautiful landscape, despite some noticeable frame drops initially, was entertaining. You are technically in the realm of darkness the entire time, but what's interesting is that you don't just run around a barren wasteland. Instead, you're presented with the ruins of the Castle of Dreams, the Enchanted Domain, Destiny Islands, and Dwarf Woodlands, which all have a new, striking post-apocalyptic aesthetic. I love how the Realm of Darkness is still somewhat colorful, even though it has the moniker of being the Realm of Darkness. Not to mention, the new worlds give 0.2 a fresh feel apart from the other Kingdom Hearts installments that sometimes use the same environments and set pieces. There's also a dark undertone of isolation in the minimalistic narrative, like with the anti-Aqua character and hallucinations Aqua has, which makes the plot a hell of a lot more interesting and engaging than anything back cover has to offer. Willa Holland returns as the voice actress of Aqua and nails the part, while some of the other voices are a bit disappointing. Mickey Mouse, despite being voiced by Brett Ewan apparently, lacks emotion and sounds bootlegged.
I thought I heard her voice in the distance. I had to respect her choice. Yup.
I think the performance demanded a more serious tone from Ewan, and maybe there wasn't enough time to really polish the part, but over time I got used to it, so it's not too bad. Sora, on the other hand, makes me feel uncomfortable.
Secret.
His lines give off this really weird, immature vibe that I guess Sora is known for, but I always thought he was way more ditzy than he was stupid like he's portrayed here.
Whatever. Happens all the time.
Although the voice performance works for making Sora sound like a whiny bitch, it doesn't suit his character in my opinion. Nitpicks aside, I love this fragment of Kingdom Hearts 3. Fighting the same old Heartlesses as well as the new foes and a tough final boss was altogether a worthwhile experience. That begs the question though, is Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Prologue birthed by indefinitely no release date for Kingdom Hearts 3.02 worth the full retail price of $60? It depends on how badly you want a taste of Kingdom Hearts 3 because that's really all you're getting. You get to try Kingdom Hearts 3 for a solid 2.5 hours. While extremely enjoyable, I wouldn't feel great in recommending you such a collection that only has 2.5 hours worth of new content. If you haven't played Dream Drop Distance and want to, that's a different story I suppose. But I'd still advise you to wait for a price drop or sale of about $10 and pick it up then. If you really want to play it now, do it. I'm not going to stop you or blame you for wanting a fragment of one of the most anticipated games of the last few years. As always, if you disagree or agree with me, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching and take care. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.